Hello, Lynn. My name is Doug Bennett. I was a juror this year in the 2019 Texas Summerfest print competition. Here today to provide you a critique on your image entitled I Am Great, which scored a 78 during the competition in the above average category. Uh, wow, this bird was really sharp. I do believe I was on the panel when this one came up. Uh, Great detail in the plumage, the feathers, and certainly in terms of these legs and the feet down here. The eyes good and sharp, it appeared to me. Nice sharpness all through there. So great capture in that regard. Good depth of field. Even some of the stuff in the background is still sharp, which in some cases that's not so good here. I think the bird just, because of his coloration, he really snaps out from the background of all the greenery. And so I think even though some of these leaves are pretty sharp, I think this works fine in that regard. The one big thing that I felt like was held back your score is just simply this white bar here. As this image pops up, it's the brightest thing is the image, as I'm sure you can see. And so the eye goes immediately there relative to all of the rest of the background. You just wish that bar wasn't white, that maybe it was painted a dark green or something like that, so that it wouldn't be so stark and the very first thing that we see when the image pops up. So I know that's how it was. Not much you could do about that. Perhaps some folks who created Photoshop could change that color to a dark green. Maybe you have those kinds of skills. But I think that would make this image very much stronger. The other thing I noticed, it looked like I zoomed in on the image prior to the critique, and I saw some little white something right here at the tip of his lower beak. And I'm not sure what that is. It's just almost, I think I would recommend cloning that little spot, whatever that white thing is, out. It just drives the question, if anybody notices it, as to what that might be. The other thing that I would suggest, aside certainly if you could fix this white bar, is your presentation. I like the green. I think that works. It's complementary with all of the background that we see in the image. But I think in this case it's just too bright. And with the thickness of the matte, it really, our eye really is picked up by that matte. What I would suggest is darkening down the green matte quite a bit to somewhere in the tonality of the green that you see back here in this deep shadow. And I think with that, it'll make not only this pop out more, but now your bird will really pop out and be very strong, and I think would couldn't do anything but help your score in the future competition on this one. So I would strongly suggest that you do that. I do see that you have kind of a little darker green stroke line there. That might need to be lightened up a little bit if you go with the darker matte color in there. But if you do lighten it up, make sure that it's not noticeable very much. Certainly keep it thin like it is. Don't make it bright, and don't make it heavily saturated. So I think there is possibilities here. I think I would work with this image some more, whether it's just darkening down this white bar to a dark gray, if you could get it to that point. And I think certainly his toes, or if that's what these are on a bird, the feet won't be standing out as so much, but even still here with this white and the coloration here, it's way too much of a contrast and pulls our eye away from this area of the bird that we want to be seeing. So I would suggest that. One other thing I would also do, recommend to you, is in the Nik Color Effects Pro filters, there is a filter called Darken, Lighten, Center. It provides kind of a very subtle vignette around this, a vignette that is so subtle you don't notice it unless you're turning the filter effect on and off. I would really recommend that, making this center part. You can usually select where you want the center to be. I would select this part of the bird, and it'll subtly darken down the tonality of all of the surrounding area a little bit. further making your bird really pop out. As it is now, these are getting pretty saturated, pretty bright, and are stealing away some of the attention away from the bird. So I think use of that filter in this case could really make this image pop. So we'd love to see you make those changes and give this image a try in a future competition. I think you would have potentially a great chance of having a merit on your hands. So hopefully these comments have been helpful to you and give you something to think about and try. Certainly appreciate the opportunity to provide these thoughts to you. Thank you. Bye.